welcome to the third episode of the Black Celebration. I am your host, Miché, and I have with me today a very special guest. This is Dr. Jeffery Hubbard. We are going to have an amazing conversation. It is Women's History Month, so this episode is focused solely on women, Black women specifically, because you know we celebrate all things Black. Here on the Black Celebration, we live by the EMC lifestyle, so we educate, mitigate, and celebrate all things in Blackness. With that being said, the celebration will start now. Our featured bottle this month is the McBride Sisters. So this is our second bottle by the McBride Sisters. But this bottle is specifically called Black Girl Magic. It is a brute. And as always, I let my guests do the honors. So, Dr. Jeff, while you are opening the bottle, I will go ahead and read your bio. So, Dr. Jeffery B. Hubbard, MD, MS, is a conscientious concierge medical doctor, researcher, and entrepreneur with over 19 years of experience in various scientific disciplines and 7 years of extensive medical training. He is knowledgeable in scientific methods of investigation with specific interests in human anatomy and physiology, molecular biology, nutrition, lifestyle modification, as well as integrated functional medicine and health coaching. So that was nice. Very nice open.
You ready?
So his areas of expertise include family, public, community, and environmental medicine, as well as healthcare technology, administration, and infrastructure development. In addition to his love for core sciences and genuine empathy for the sick, Dr. Hubbard sought a career in medicine because of the urban areas of Houston, Texas, where he grew up and lacked good healthcare providers that shared his background and ethnicity. So, H-Town.
H-Town.
Is your hometown. Okay. What part of Houston are you from?
So, South Park area is where I grew up.
Okay.
Yeah, so near Hubbard Airport, southeast side of Houston.
Okay. I just had an experience going to Hubbard Airport. So I flew to Houston. Well, I went to Houston to get my hair done because these braiders in Dallas just look like, ma'am, I don't have that kind of coin. So went to Houston. I got my hair braided. I had 2.5 hours to get to the airport from A-Leaf to Hobby.
Ooh.
Yeah. I get in the Uber, and the Uber driver is skipping the tolls. And I'm like, sir, where are you going? And he says, oh, I don't have a toll tag. Well, Uber can pay for that. I don't know. Like, I got to get to the airport, sir. This man drove me all around Houston, and then we get on 610, I believe it was. And he was like, do you want me to stay on 610 or go 59? Sir, I'm not from here. Like, I don't know how to get to this hospital. I mean, this airport, I just need you to get me to Hobby before this plane take off. Right. I had 35 minutes when I got to the airport.
Man, he playing.
It was absolutely too much. But that has always been my experience in Houston with the traffic and the driving. It's just a lot. But it's good people in Houston.
Oh, no doubt about it.
I went to Prairie View, so I know a lot of people from the city. And, you know, I have a good time when I go there. So thank you for joining us today.
It's my pleasure.
You have a lot of expertise. And I want to mention again that it's Women's History Month, so we are going to have a conversation about women's health, but then also a conversation about the relationship between Black men and Black women.
Let's do it.
So it's protect Black women always for me. And when we first met, we met at a friend's house, a mutual friend, and we had this amazing conversation about just Black people in general, our relationships, and I thought you would be a great person and an expertise in your field.
So you're going to give me some champagne so I tell the truth, huh?
Yes, that's what it is.
I'm here
We need you to give it to us real, raw, and uncut. So,
done deal.
First things first, there has been a lot of talk recently within the last 3 years to hit public. I'm sure in medical field you all have talked about the mortality rate of Black women and what happens with pregnancy and all of that. But within the last 3 years, that has become a very big conversation in the public. So let's just start the conversation about the Black woman's body. Like, let's talk about how we even get to that point of mortality and what it looks like for Black women to be healthy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a complex conversation. It's a lot to unpack. I think in general, Black people are just under a significant amount of stress. And, over the years, research has been able to prove like what stress does to the human body over time.
Okay.
And so I think, Black people in general have a lot of these various different illnesses and chronic diseases that seem to be really prevalent in our communities. And a lot of the conversation is always centered around genetics, or, hey, this is the Black experience. You're predisposed to hypertension, diabetes,
right,
high cholesterol, cancer, on and on. So,
wait, how much are we predisposed to? That sounds like a lot.
There's several illnesses that, yes, are much more prevalent in Black communities, period.
Wow. Okay.
So there's a whole category of health disparities and social determinants of health that contribute to these particular things. And so that's something that's continuing to be understood right now, is exactly why these health disparities are happening. But in my humble opinion, it's really a cultural thing, and it's a lot about how we eat and how we cope with our stresses.
Okay.
And so if you're overindulging in alcohol or other intoxicants or smoking or recreational drugs to compensate for your stress level or for your particular plight, however you see that to be,
right,
then that's obviously contributing to your body not functioning at an optimal level. So I use a lot of car analogies because I think it's something we can identify with. So if you're not putting good gasoline in your tank, eventually your engine is going to decline. If you're not changing oil, if you're not getting a tune-up, so circling all the way back to Black women, I think there's a lot of illnesses in the reproductive space that are prevalent, and I don't think we fully understand why those particular things are happening. And I think so stress and nutrition and diet, a lot of those things are the major contributory factors to the high incidence of leiomyomas or uterine fibroid tumors or ovarian cysts or endometriosis, challenging pregnancies. We talked about, the morbidity and mortality of women who are having babies right now. I mean, it's like 2021, right? And people are still having like challenges giving birth. Like, this is not the 1700s. You know what I mean? So,
and it happens every day. I mean, people give birth every day.
Every single
all
day. Yeah.
So why are we still having challenges like that? I think that's a good question.
Yeah, so it's a really complex situation. And I know there's a lot of OB-GYNs who are like specifically interested in this research, and they're starting to really get motivated to do it. But it's really mostly Black women who are OB-GYNs who are interested in doing this research. And so obviously the money's not there, probably some of the institutional support is not there. It's not a sexy research topic, right? It's actually pretty scary, and it would unveil perhaps some poor practices in hospitals and clinics and birthing centers and areas where people are trying to have babies and maybe your insurance isn't the best, or maybe your ability to pay isn't the best. And so, there's those factors, but I guess the all-encompassing message is there's a bunch of different things happening, moving parts that are contributing to different people having different healthcare experiences. So that's just the crazy part, because this is not actually like a financial demographic difference, right? There's affluent Black women who are dying or whose babies are dying, and then there's the people who are struggling to make it who are having the same experience. So that's kind of, to me, what's eye-opening, is you would think that normally, okay, I got good insurance, I can go to a good hospital, but even the quote-unquote good hospitals aren't having the greatest numbers. So what's really happening?
So just a little, I guess, reflection and being vulnerable, I was having not issues, but I had a concern, right? And my OB is a white man who I've been going to, I don't know, since I moved back to Dallas in 2014. So all this happened in 2017. Like you said, it's doesn't really affect you whether you have insurance or don't have insurance. Cause I thought I had pretty good insurance. I worked for the insurance company, so Blue Cross Blue Shield was, really giving up the bucks for me to have quality health care.
Sure, absolutely.
I called my doctor. I told him what I felt like my issue was, and he's like, that's normal. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, nah, but I'm telling you I'm worried because this is not my norm.
Sure. That
might be normal for other people's bodies.
Sure.
But I think as a human being, and then as a woman specifically, you know your body. So I called him back and was like, hey, it hasn't changed. And, it's been like 3 months. So he was like, come in. So I go in. He runs tests, and he's like, everything's okay. I don't know where your worry is coming in because we've tested this and we've tested that and things look good. But I'm telling him it doesn't feel good. So I can tell. I decided on my own that I was going to change my diet. I decided I'm taking meat out, I went solely pescatarian. I went into the Daniel fast that January. And, if you know anything about the Daniel fast, you're not really eating anything but air. We're talking about fresh fruit, fresh veggies, no condiments, so it was pretty natural diet.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
then after that, when I finished the Daniel fast, I just incorporated seafood again. So fish, crab leg, shrimp, that. And then I also obviously added back in, ketchup, stuff like that, because I want the food to be good. But I saw the change immediately. I guarantee you within 2 months. What I thought my problem was eradicated itself through diet. And it annoys people sometimes. They're like, you don't eat meat. But it's like, hey, I have to watch what I intake because I can tell that it affects my body. And to your point earlier, what we overindulge in, I think contributes to what could happen to us. And while doctors are saying, well, things look normal, that doesn't mean that I'm not creating an issue, right?
Absolutely.
If I see something happening. So
absolutely. That's an excellent point, and I think I'm glad you can introspectively digest that because that's something that I don't think a lot of people do. And it contributes to the development of disease. And that's one thing I'm super passionate about is pinpointing those specifically for a person that says, hey, look, these 3 things are detrimental to your body. And if you keep doing them in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, your 60s and 70s, it's not going to look too good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And explaining, hey, it sucks being on dialysis. It sucks being on an oxygen tank. It sucks having a colostomy bag. It sucks because you can't enjoy your twilight.
Right.
You didn't work all your life to have this retirement, and you can't do nothing because your health is so poor.
Right.
You can't travel. You can't play with your grandkids. You can't do the things that the American dream promises you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that's a really powerful point, is that there's things outside of traditional allopathic medicine that every person should be knowledgeable of.
So for the Black woman that is going into pregnancy, let me preface this question another way. Black women are now having children at a later age.
Yeah.
My great-grandmother had her first child at 14 years old. You know what I'm saying? And she had 18 kids. Now, 7 were stillborn because obviously back in that time, giving birth and having a doctor around was not the norm. They had midwives.
Exactly.
But she was pregnant 18 times. Go on to some of my great aunts that had 9 and 12 kids. My mom had 2, and then so now you're looking at me, I'm a 33-year-old woman with no kids. I have a lot of friends that have not had kids yet, or friends that are just having kids at 34 or 35. something I learned a couple years ago is that at 35, being pregnant is considered geriatric pregnancy.
It's considered high risk.
First of all, who decides to call it geriatric? Let's relax on us, okay? But yes, it is a high-risk pregnancy.
Yeah.
So for Black women that are already in a high-risk pregnancy because they're older, having kids, plus now a lot of Black women are starting to voice the fact that they're dealing with endometriosis and all these other diseases. I just learned about preeclampsia. Talk to the Black woman that is having a child those later dates in age, and then also dealing with these medical issues.
So there's a really interesting book called The pH Miracle, and I can't think of the author's name right now, but the pH Miracle talks about these diseases for what they really are, which are symptoms of a much greater problem, which is that your body is acidic.
Okay.
And so, you know, Dr. CB kind of made this a little popular, is the alkaline diet and eating alkaline foods. But he was just one of the forefathers of talking about that. But there's a lot of research that says that the body functions better at pH of 7.4, 7.5, not closer to 6. And a lot of people are closer to the 6 range, which means that they have a more acidic interstitial fluid, bloodstream, etc.
Okay.
And so your body just does not function well. You make yourself susceptible for these other symptoms.
Okay.
So having a more alkaline diet and a more alkaline approach to your health is supposed to be really powerful. I've seen a lot of different people, revolutionize things that were happening. So
what are some foods in an alkaline diet? I don't know.
Most of your green leafy vegetables,
Okay.
And basically your plant products. A lot of nuts are alkaline.
Okay.
Vinegar is obviously alkaline, so like apple cider vinegar is really good practice. There's tons of things, cruciferous vegetables, your broccoli, stuff like that, kale, spinach.
Okay. So those are things that I definitely dibble dabble in the broccoli a lot. That's my favorite veg. Alkaline water. Is that enough? Are you saying that someone needs a lot of this? And how do you even know if you're at a pH 6 or a pH 7, 7.5? Like,
great question. So either you can go get a laboratory test, or they actually sell tongue strips.
Okay.
And they're like a litmus test. So I don't know if you remember from chemistry. I'm a nerd.
I do not remember from chemistry, Dr. Jeff. I don't.
So basically you take this strip and you swipe it over your tongue.
Okay.
And it gauges the pH of your saliva.
Okay.
So you can look at the color spectrum on this litmus test and it'll tell you, oh, you're good, you're too alkaline, you're acid, you're super acid.
Okay.
Or whatever. They come in different fashions. But that's a great way to kind of determine where you are and check where you are on a consistent basis.
Okay.
If you don't have the ability to get labs on a regular basis. So, yeah, but pretty much everybody's acidic, based upon the diet that you eating and that sort of thing. So, coming back full circle to your question, I think that our sisters first have to identify, hey, I'm serious about getting pregnant. And I want to do this, and dedicate yourself to it. It's bigger than you. It's about the baby, right? And so you have to cut off a lot of the things that you probably are doing or would be doing, specifically when you get into the heat of the pregnancy and you're uncomfortable and your hormones are raging and you have all of these different emotions and things like that. It's easy to run to the things that you normally do to cope with an emotional fluctuation, right? So if you normally eat pie or eat cake or these sorts of things, ice cream, whatever, take into consideration how you're altering your temple, right? And
so health, diet, exercise, all that plays a part. Not having a lot of stress is what I'm hearing. How do black men help us in those areas? Because, we're going to get into this real conversation about protecting the black woman. And I've seen a lot of black men protect their wives, protect their girlfriends while they're pregnant, or their mate. Some people choose not to be married, and so that's for them. But I've also seen a lot of women be in very stressful situations, and when you have medical staff that does not always listen to you, because I just gave you an example of my doctor telling me everything's fine, and I'm telling him no, it's not. How do black men help black women in that moment, like during the pregnancy? What is their role to help?
Let's go back before the pregnancy, right? Because in order to get pregnant, you have to be having intercourse. Okay. And the woman has to be ovulating. So to me, a guy first needs to just be in tune with his woman. Okay. Her cycle, when it is, when it's not, all of those sorts of things. I don't think guys really conceptualize the moon, right? And I think it's something that they should feel much more comfortable with, and not think of it as I don't want to be around her when she's menstruating, or I don't want to be around her when she's on her whatever, and say, hey, look, I understand why you're feeling this way. Have some sort of empathy because you're going through this process. And I can imagine like having to put that into your schedule, into your day, into your month, like travel plans, like all of this other stuff. You don't want to be going out to Miami and kicking it if you're going to be menstruating. Obviously, that would take away from the experience. Right. So just thinking about those things and being respectful of the woman's journey. So
that's really major, and I don't know that I've ever heard any other man say that before, that they need to be in tune like that with the woman. I think that experiences that I've talked to people about is just like men are almost kind of like, well, that's your thing, I'm gonna let you handle that.
Exactly.
And they put, stereotypes on women. Oh, you're PMSing, and so you just doing that because you have an attitude, and like not really understanding the mental space and mental capacity a woman has to have to do this every month. Like you just said, just even travel plans, something as simple as travel plans, whereas the man could just throw whatever he wants to in a suitcase. We have to be cognizant of this all the time. So I like that. That's a good point. Okay, so what's next? What else can men do to help protect us in pregnancy?
Okay. So, obviously then being aware of the needs, like we just talked about the nutritional stuff, right? So obviously every woman needs to be taking their prenatal vitamins, and obviously a lot of other supplements, especially if you're having a baby at advanced maternal age, right? These are super important at this point because of the other limitations and challenges just because you're older. So when the woman says, hey, my mom used to tell me that when she was pregnant with me, she loved Fuddruckers. So like every couple of days, she wanted a Fuddruckers hamburger. And so she would send my dad out whenever. She's like, it don't matter, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I'm ready for this burger. So she said it was cool for a while, and then he was like, you really need another one of them burgers? And so she used to make me laugh about that. But I think that there's certain cravings, certain things that, hey, maybe that's not the best idea. Maybe we should eat this. You know what I'm saying? And then being understanding of the response that you might get that, hey, I don't give a damn what you talking about. I want so. Yeah. So I think that's number 2, just being involved. I noticed like it's so interesting. You ever watch Maury or Paternity Court or any of these things, and the woman's always like, he wasn't there, he didn't do nothing for me, he didn't go to doctor's appointments, he didn't rub my feet, he didn't feed me, he didn't, and I think there's hopefully, right, the guy wants to be involved. I think in so many instances there's doubt or there's confusion or there's bickering, fighting or whatever that contributes to like, hey man, I just don't want to be in the same space because it's too tumultuous.
Right.
I think guys need to push past whatever animosity or beef is between him and the sister, again, putting the child first, right? And I think that's got to be a shift in our mindset is, hey, we got to produce the next generation of black folks, and they need to be healthy and happy and enter this dimension with the proper tools.
Right.
And if the mom is stressed, if you stressed, like, the baby is obviously going to feel that energy. Like, I just don't think people realize how intelligent human beings are.
Right.
And astute.
So I want to add to that and just say, because you talked about, like, we want the baby to be healthy. And that is absolutely true. Like, we want to be able to birth a baby that is fully formed, that, mentally is not stressed, because you can stress a baby in the womb.
Absolutely.
But also to speak to the fact that this woman is, like, carrying a child, and it's life or death for her as well.
Sure.
So, because pregnancy in itself looks stressful. I mean, I just be looking at people like, oh, sis, I just know you ready to drop that baby. Right. But birth,
itself,
the child coming out of the canal, that is a lot of pressure on this woman's body.
Absolutely.
And so to me, sometimes I'm just looking at men, I've seen it, and I'm just like, for you to have this woman carrying your child and not understand that her life is also at risk when she gets ready to give birth, because your feelings, my brother, I absolutely care about my brother's feelings. I, love black men, and I want you to take care of yourself as well. But because of your feelings, you're taking a route in which is stressing this woman out and not being present and even just giving birth, because I've witnessed people talk about their experience in the hospital on day of birth or 2 days after birth, and they're saying that they're in pain, and if they don't have anyone there to advocate for them and talk to nurses, talk to doctors, I feel like we get lost in the fact that this woman can die in the process of giving birth. So I just wanted to add to that, like, yes, absolutely protect your child, but also protect her, because she's about to go through something that, I've heard men have to make the decision, do you want us to take the baby or make the decision right then and there? It's either her or the baby. So understanding that all those things come into play when birth happens.
Sure.
So,
and that's what I mean, like, you gotta be knowledgeable. Like, you gotta read, you gotta study, you gotta research. Like, you have to be engaged. I think that's something that not enough black men are actively doing, is to understand the process, the birthing process, everything, so that, like, before, during, and after, it won't be any surprises, right?
Right.
What's happening and what could potentially happen. I think a lot of us just go into it blind. Oh, we having a baby. Oh, it's cool. Like, even if you're engaged and happy and there, and
right.
But you still don't really have the full gamut of information to really be the best father you can be, right? And so I think, to your point, sometimes the most challenging or scary part of protecting your woman during a pregnancy is after she gives birth, and dealing with the possible postpartum depression, the connecting to the baby, the breastfeeding, just the various different aspects of motherhood. There's a lot to process. Hey, I just delivered a life, you know what I mean? And so there's a lot to process, a lot to deal with. Obviously the relationship can get frustrating with the early morning feedings and things like that, the responsibility to do the different landmarks and for the baby's progression. Normally the mom is kind of the one that's really adamant about it. Dad is like, okay,
right.
I want to, but maybe I don't necessarily feel as comfortable feeding, changing diapers. Like, that's the woman thing.
Right.
And I think that can create resentment really quickly if the mom feels like, hey, Dad, where are you at in this? Like, I don't see you trying to connect or trying to do the next step in fatherly responsibilities to care for the newborn. So
right.
I think there's some area that could be improved there as well.
That's an amazing point to bring up, the postpartum, because that depression does exist for women. Mm-hmm. I believe that anxiety exists for men. There's an anxiety for them, like, this baby is here, so like you're saying that, like, I kind of want to help, but I don't really know if I'm supposed to be doing this, or but for women, sexually, there's a change in their body. From what I hear, it has not been my experience because I haven't given birth, but I've worked with women that have experienced postpartum depression, and they might not have a desire, so then that plays into a part of the marriage. Like you said, the stressful, mm-hmm. if they're breastfeeding, they are responsible for getting that milk to the mm-hmm. child, and so that you don't have the ability
still
to just,
can't drink.
Right, you still can't drink.
Smoke.
You can. It's a lot of things that
so you thought,
waited 9 months.
I'm about to birth. No, you still another 6-8 months.
Exactly. And then you have women that are dealing with the lack of breast milk. Sometimes they're not producing the breast milk as fluidly as they would like to. Yep. So it's a lot. I think that we as a people have to realize, and not that other cultures are experts in it, because I don't think that they're just acing it either. Right. But for Black people, because we've experienced so many things in the past, I mean, women's bodies have been used in medical experiences or experiments, that we are probably still suffering mentally in. So I think that
probably
right, definitely. We are. Mm-hmm. You're right. So just as a people, we have to realize that we have to put in a lot of effort to combat a lot of the things that mentally we've dealt with, physically our bodies have dealt with. And as parents that are bringing in kids, you have to do it together.
No, absolutely.
It's for the man and the woman to do together.
Absolutely.
So, Dr. Jeff, you didn't take me. I thought you was really going to take me to biology, and I was going to be really confused. But you did an amazing job, like, making it simple and plain for us to really understand mm-hmm. the medical terms and just how to be more healthy as Black women, and how men can contribute to a healthy pregnancy. Now, I want to talk about, you mentioned something earlier about the postpartum depression and just mental health and all those mm-hmm. things. So, I have a firm belief that Black men should be going to therapy just as much as Black women are. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, that is still not happening. Mm-hmm. Black women are going to therapy in droves now, especially Black millennial women. That's mm-hmm. very big. Mm-hmm. To that point, the relationship between the Black man and the Black woman is not as strong as it could be, because I think that there are still a lot of underlying issues that have not been dealt with. Mm-hmm. But again, it's Women's History Month, so we are talking about protecting the Black woman. Mm-hmm. So we talked about that when it comes to pregnancy. As a whole, I feel like because of the disconnects between Black women and Black men, there are a lot of issues in our relationships that possibly would not exist if we put more effort into, one, resolving our own issues, but then also respecting and taking time to learn the Black man and the Black woman.
True. So
with that, I just kind of want to shift into this first question. Did you see, because this was big for me, did you see the issue in the restaurant here in Dallas where there was a black woman and she was like dancing on the couch in the restaurant, and then the owner came out and decided to give this Martin Luther King Jr. speech. And, he cussed her out, like he definitely said some choice words that I felt like were inappropriate.
A little harsh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And let me tell you why I thought it was inappropriate, because who are you to talk to this woman like that? This not your wife, not your sister, it's not your mom. If some people in their family, they have relationships where they talk to people however, But this woman is a patron to your restaurant. And then he went into this rant about asking black men to respect black women, but if you don't respect yourself, what does the one have to do with the two? I don't understand how you are equating those two. So, with that, I just want to say, I would have never went to somebody's restaurant and stepped on their couch and been dancing on the couch. So I am not condoning her dancing like that, right? But I just feel like for you as a black man to talk to this black woman like that in the middle of this restaurant, right? That is the disconnect that I'm talking about. You brought up black men respecting black women and her respecting herself from her dancing to a song
that you played in your restaurant.
That
you know is a trigger song.
And you running around giving people Douce bottles of whatever is in there. Again, not condoning the behavior. I'm just saying that had my brother been there, had my best friend been there, men in my life, you just can't talk to me like that. So tell me, let's talk about that. Black men and respecting black women and just what that relationship looks like. How did you feel when you saw that?
Again, it's like, is this a microcosm of a much larger systemic issue, or is this one guy acting out and taking his, I won't even call it power, but it is your restaurant, so technically you get to do and say whatever you want to do and say at your restaurant. But from a couple of things, I think it was an uncalled for emotional outburst. I think it wasn't business savvy at all. I think it was just tacky. So in general, that's how I felt about the video. Like, dude, what you really on? Like, what's the end game here? Like, what are you trying to do? And so, that was weird. To me, I don't think he's a reflection of black men. Now, backing all the way up, do you feel like there is, I think, a disrespectful, there's obviously a rift right now in the black household. Why that's there, I'm sure we can point to hundreds of different reasons why there's this tension. On both sides. To me, I just feel like we gotta learn how to talk to each other again. I feel like that's one of the number one things that creates this tension is the way that we communicate. We don't communicate effectively. And I think there's so many things to unpack in this relationship that you can't get to the root of the problem because you caught up in all the leaves and the branches. And in those instances, for real, it's like, hey, my sister, I need you to sit down with me if we're going to be romantically involved. And I'm going to need to understand where you at. And I need you to understand where I'm at. And we need to be able to put our heads together on how we're going to be successful moving forward. And I think there's not enough trust and communication and honesty in the beginning of romantic relationships between black men and black women in today's society. And so then that's where, it feels like, hey, you lied to me. I did. But it was more of like my selective truths. And both people do it, women and men. It's not like I don't want it. And I think that's what a lot of guys resent wholeheartedly, is that the presentation is niggas ain't shit. That's kind of like the general consensus. You're guilty until proven innocent. And you come into a relationship, the woman always has in the back of her mind, oh, he might be doing this, and this, or he has the capability to do this, and this.
You think so?
Yeah.
So, okay, because you're speaking from the male perspective, it's a couple things I want to unpack from what you said. But to that point, and maybe I am just naive, or I'm just a really nice, trusting person. For the most part, because I'm not going to act like my experiences do not influence my openness, right? For the most part, though, the person that someone presents themselves to be, I believed you for that. Like, I'm going to give you... So I don't have any preconceived notion that, like, oh, he's going to do this or he's going to do that. If you're presenting that you're interested in me, or you're presenting that, you know, this is what you want, and, you know, all those things, I'm going to take it for face value, because, I mean, the last fella does not mean that you're going to be him at all, you know? And
Sure.
And that last relationship, I did things, you know? So I don't put my past on the other person. Like,
Sure.
I have to take responsibility as well. And I just say that because birds of a feather flock together. So I have a lot of friends that think the same way as well. Like, I have a lot of friends that are single Black women, and even some of my friends that are married. Like, they got to the point of being married because they didn't allow what happened in the last relationship to cloud their judgment. I think men think that. What you said. Men think that we think y'all ain't shit, so
But that's the
you treat us like that.
That's the narrative, though. Don't you think that is the narrative on social media? Don't you think that's the narrative?
I think that narrative comes into
right
play when you see stuff like what you saw in that man talking to that woman, or you hear the stories about men doing X, Y, and Z. That's when we like. Yeah.
But it's always, in my opinion, it's presented as evidence to prove the point that Black men don't protect Black women. Like, I've heard on so many occasions Black sisters saying, I don't feel protected. And then I've directly, like, what is not protected? Like, help me understand what that means.
Okay, I'm gonna help you understand. So, one thing is, earlier you said the female, and then when you referenced men, you said guy or the Black man. A lot of Black women have said that using the word female to reference a woman is disrespectful. Not that when you said it, it was being disrespectful, right? Because your tone, connotation of what you said, it was not disrespectful. However, to reference a woman as female is just basically referencing her to her genitalia, and that's it.
I've heard that before.
And then a lot of men do use it in place of calling a woman a bitch. Like, they're just literally like... Well, you females, you know, and it's like, I know what you really wanted to say. You just didn't say that, right?
Yeah.
Also, though, like, you could be a female dog. You could be a cow, like a female plant. Like, it's so many things. But nobody goes around saying, well, you males or my male over here. You know, like, it's almost like an underlying.
You don't use that word, but you use, what word do you use in place of that? Because there's definitely that sort of energy, like a generalization. I think we got to stop that. We got to stop the generalization of,
altogether.
Hey, all Black men think this way, or all Black men do this, or all Black women do this. That's just not true. We're the most diverse people on the planet, especially melanated Americans, because we have so many different things coming at us that would influence the way we develop. Mm-hmm. Like, I hate it because there's so many other groups of people, and when you think about Chinese people, right, for example, or Jews, for an example, like Ashkenazi Jews, you think of a particular type of person who has a particular type of culture, who's going to raise their kids like this and do that. Mm-hmm. African American people are quite possibly the only body of people who are so driven by acceptance that they alter the way that they do and think on an individualized basis to be in
the mass,
whatever, however you feel about it. And I think it's like part colorism, part socioeconomic, part educational. It's like there's so many different groups and pockets of thinkers and people in Black culture that is so improper to like label all Black guys this way. It's just not true, and vice versa. And so I just think we got to stop that and just like have a revamp. Like, let's not categorize Black guys as this. But I think what's so interesting is that there's an attraction to that, though. So it's almost like, I believe, now this is just me talking. All right, you ain't got champagne going now. I think a lot of our sisters want pseudo thugs. You want a corporate thug. You want somebody to be the swag, the perception, the confidence, the disposition, the approach to a relationship, being aggressive. You want that thuggish sort of rough guy who's gonna make you feel like a woman. Give you that sort of perception of physical protection, but you don't want him to be in the street. You don't want him to be doing anything illegal. You don't want him to go to prison. You want him to be educated and affluent, but also have these street characteristics.
Okay, so I don't agree nor disagree with the statement of women wanting a corporate thug. I think that there's another way to word it, because I don't necessarily think that women are looking for a thug. So I'm gonna speak for me. I am not the most dainty woman, right? Like, I had an older brother. I have a lot of cousins. I grew up, just being very strong. And so I'm not the most passive person. I'm not, I have a very strong presence within myself. So, yeah, I need somebody that's going to be strong. Yeah, I need somebody that's going to be able to, like, handle the conversation when we have the conversation. Like,
perfect, right? I'm so glad you said that.
But I don't need you to be a thug.
But what the common response is that, oh, he couldn't handle me.
Nah, I don't even think that it's people can't handle me.
I'm too much woman for him. But that's such a common statement. It's like, maybe not even the attitude per se, but just the way that you approach a relationship with a guy is very aggressive, or you're an aggressive woman, and guys may not connect with that, and it might be like, hey, look, you're a dope woman, you're just not my woman. And I feel like guys don't get that credit to say, hey, like, you a little too strong.
Much.
Yeah. It's like that makes him be weak. Nah.
If someone could say that, though, if people could say that, but it's like you said earlier, the communication is lacking. So to the point that I was talking about saying female, right? Because you're saying like there has to be a revamp. If we as women are telling Black men that using the word female is disrespectful to us, we take it as being disrespectful. It's almost like an argument. Like, nah, that's not disrespectful. Like, I'm just saying, like, that's what you are. It's like, okay, but I'm talking like, to you about this.
But, like, where are we organized to say, hey, look, let's adjust this language that we use. Like
Plenty of
we
conversations.
ain't connected enough to
As
have,
a whole.
and that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like guys need to have some sort of forum where we can have these sort of conversations, like a meeting of the minds, so to speak, to say, hey, these are the different pain points that our sisters are actually acknowledging. And that to me, that's so easy. If we could gain 10 points, right, by not using female no more, I guarantee you we'd be down for that.
The likelihood of having this forum is
it's
few and far.
I agree.
But having these individual conversations and taking heed to the conversation instead of trying to argue with a woman about why using the word is not disrespectful, is because I've had this conversation with plenty of men before. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like they get offended that we're offended by the word. And let me say this, I'm not necessarily offended by the word. I do think it's disrespectful though. I mean,
touche. I can appreciate how it might be considered disrespectful based upon the way you described it.
Right.
If I'm relegating you to your capability of birthing a child and having a vagina by calling you female, okay, I respect that.
Right.
Some other words could be used, but lady ain't for everybody either. Right. So,
woman.
Okay,
you could just say woman. You
woman.
say this. I mean, if you want to say chick, if you want to say girl. I mean, I'm a grown woman, so don't call me a girl. But when it comes to dating, if men would verbalize what their concern was or is, cool, right? Like, I'm not for everybody, period. Like, I might not be for a lot of other women. Like, we're not gonna be friends because you just can't handle my energy, and some other women, I can't handle their energy. They're too much for me.
Facts.
However, a lot of times men are not able to verbalize that, so women are left with assuming on their own. Okay, well, maybe it was this. And I think when it comes to just going back to protecting black women, it's also protecting our mental health. Like, protect our mental space too. Sure. If there is a problem, talk to us about those things.
Sure.
Help us to understand how to grow. I think women, a lot of the times, want to have conversations with men about, like, okay, well, you did this and I didn't, and men are like, all right, I won't do it no more. And that's all that they want to have in the conversation. They want to really in-depthly talk about it. Mm-hmm. Versus, a woman is willing to really have the conversation. So men cheat, or they, are disrespectful to women and all types of other things because they don't have the vocabulary and the communication to actually express themselves.
I think that's...
Is that a generalization?
I think that's just the wrong way to process it. I think that's where the confusion is that guys don't lack the capability to articulate or communicate what they want to say. Oftentimes, they're not comfortable sharing that level of depth with their girl because it's going to make her feel insecure, inadequate, or whatever the case may be. It's almost a protection sort of thing. And I know that sounds counterintuitive because you're like, I don't feel protected by that. But if I tell you, like, hey, I want to have sex with somebody else, how do you have that conversation? You should have had that conversation when we first started dating, and you say, hey, well, I love having sex with you, but sometimes I want to do something else. Most women are gonna be like, nah, I'm not going for that. That's not the type of relationship I'm interested in. Mm-hmm. You find some other female to do that. Right? So the guy is like left with this sort of aspect of himself that has to be dormant.
Well, or you could be honest and be comfortable with her saying that's not for me.
Straight up. And that's so what I'm suggesting is the honesty needs to be there very upfront, because there's some girls will be like, okay, cool. That's what we doing? That's what we doing. I'm cool. I got me a little something I'm going to do if I want to or whatever. But there's a certain Neanderthal quality in most men about their general, what's the right word? Like their general approach to women and intercourse. Like they want to be, even if they know they aren't, they still want to have the perception for their confidence, for their ego, that, hey, my sexual performance is appropriate and fulfilling, and I can, whatever the case may be. So the idea of their woman behaving in the way that they might behave when they want to have intercourse with another person or they want to engage another person, that's a lot to deal with. Egos are fragile.
Okay, and that to that point is what I think prohibits men from actually protecting us, because they are always protecting, and using words like always, none, think that's extreme, but for the most part they are protecting their ego. And I can agree there. I can agree that's really important. Okay, but take a step back. Ego is everything in the male world. I had a sister tell me, like, Jeff, you just don't understand what it's like to have the feeling that some guy could push up on you and you don't really have no way to defend yourself. And that really brought it home for me. I was like, oh, like, I get it. Like, you just trying to go to your car, you just trying to get home from the restaurant, or like whatever you're doing, you're just trying to be in the mall, and somebody's like over you, like, yo, what up, man? Like, da-da-da-da. And you like, dude, I'm cool. Like, I'm just not trying to meet you right now. And it's like, well, what you trying to say? Like, dude, I don't want to talk to you right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And so I understand that position. However, sometimes because of the conditioning of having to do this day in and day out, there's actually a fairly nice gentleman who's just really trying to meet you, and you're like, like, get out of my face, I don't care, and he's like, damn, like, I'm just trying to say hello, I'm just trying, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what's kind of happening is you have this push and pull, of like, well, how do I approach you then? Like, how do I talk to you without being quote unquote disrespectful?
You have really summed it up for me.
But hold on.
It's the male ego.
But
that's why we're not protected.
Take into consideration, though, the man is, from society's standpoint, the one to be the aggressor. So he has to be vulnerable. He has to approach you. He has to initiate the conversation in most instances, like to break the ice or whatever. There's a lot of anxiety associated with that. And there's a lot of insecurity on the guy's part because, right, you're trying to talk to somebody that you feel like is attractive, right? So they could or could not be in your league. So you're trying to start a conversation with somebody or whatever, but I'm saying that's the response. That's what's happening right now. It's like, oh, you're not interested. What you trying to say? I'm not cute? That's the first thing that a guy is gonna feel. That's the first thing that anybody's gonna feel. Imagine if you went up to a guy and he was like,
I'm good.
You gonna be like, well, damn. What you trying to say? Exactly.
And then the next morning I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna be like, damn, you cute, and I'm gonna keep going. Like, I think but you really have given it all to me, Dr. Jeff. It's ego.
It is.
The man. And insecurities in anybody is not lost, right?
And
we all have our own
of them
insecurities.
Two things is a problem.
Sheesh.
Insecurity and ego is a problem.
But what about, so even outside of like being attracted to people, just protecting black women as a whole, Like, it's black men. Hey, let me tell you something.
It's an unfortunate reality. It's not enough of us that really feel the community aspect.
Thank you.
And I don't know what created that in each individual that doesn't respect that community aspect. But I think in general, there's a large percentage of black men who don't see the whole village.
What's up? It's Justus Tyreek, and I am back again for a little piece of pop culture, baby, with my good sis, Just Miché.
What up?
How y'all doing tonight?
We good. We about to get this bottle popping. Let me see if I can do it and not be scared.
Don't scare me.
Okay.
Ooh, bye.
I'm doing good.
Thank you, Jesus. Oh, we love the name of the Lord. So we are here again for a little moment of pop culture while she pours us a little bottle, honey.
A little black girl magic.
A little black girl magic. Oh, we love to see it.
It's Women's History Month, so, we going to give the black girl some love.
I did not know that.
Really?
No, I'm ashamed with myself, honestly. That's upsetting me and my homegirl.
Yes,
honestly.
It is upsetting me and my homegirl because
I feel so bad. That's not what it is. So we have a couple of good topics for you today. Now we're gonna wait until we can sip, and then I'm gonna get started because it's a couple things going on.
It's a lot. Mm-hmm.
All right, now, wait a minute. That's good, y'all. Get that. Alrighty, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about today is Mr. Hot Wheel, or as I like to refer to him as Papa Willie, aka Cat Daddy. Okay. That's rude. I'm gonna stop. But the governor, is the governor right? Yes. The governor of Texas ended the mask mandate. And I don't know about y'all, but baby,
we still wearing masks.
Masked up. And I've already gotten my first issue of the vaccine. I'm finna get my second one.
Put your mask on.
You still gotta have your mask on, people, because not everybody getting it. And some people still getting the stuff. And that's not of God. I don't know what this man was thinking. I don't understand why he thinks that we should need to be back in bars, back in clubs.
100% capacity.
100% capacity. All my people at my job are like, well, when can we use the gym? Girl, never. No.
You're not really going to work out anymore.
You don't even work out, sweetie. Sweetie. No, I don't care. Y'all doing too much. It's not of God. I'm still going to wear my mask and protect myself because, first of all, y'all been nasty. I ain't even going to hold you. Y'all been a little nasty, and COVID has really just brought it to my forefront that y'all been nasty. It's not cute. Y'all ain't been washing your hands. Y'all been coughing everywhere. We don't want to hear it. So, Mr. Megatron, I wish you nothing but the worst. And, good day, sir. Good day. I'm not here for it. Now, I am here for the Grammys. Okay. Did you watch them?
I did not watch, so, we talked about this earlier. I can take things really deep. So I am very uninterested in the approval of
white people?
White
Okay,
people.
I knew that's what you were trying to avoid saying. Sorry. It's just
especially when it comes to our entertainment, because black people are pioneers in a lot of culture, music and all that. So no, I didn't watch.
Okay. But I ain't gonna lie, I ain't watching either. But I do know that my good Houstonian, is that how you say the word?
Absolutely.
I don't have a degree. I don't know how to speak. Sorry. She got 3 of them things. And I was very happy for her.
Are we talking about Beyonce or
No, Megan.
Okay.
Megan. Honey, Beyonce Beyonce was there, of course. She's on my birth certificate. She got 4. But I feel like the thing that they do, see, what irritates me about the Grammys is that they knew what they were doing nominating that one woman for 9 awards. Like, you did not have to do that. Y'all just did that so that Beyonce would come and get your little ratings up. And she didn't even perform. She just got up there with Megan. She was so excited. Oh, I love Megan so much. She's so cute, so pure.
Me too.
I love her. She got her little 3 awards. Not little. I ain't got nothing. Job. I got an award for my job for doing my job. I ain't get no Grammys, no Academy nothings. Leave me alone.
No BET Award, no Soul Train Award, no NAACP Award.
Listen, I don't even have a BET weekend.
NAACP though.
Oh, what? Hey, we love to see it. Honestly, truly. My girls, Chloe and Halle, were shut out. I was a little sad about it. They lost all 3 things that they were nominated for, and their album was great. So I was quite upset. I still bop it to this day in my Fusion. You know, I'd be like, "Love me at the ungodly hour." In the little Fuge, I'd be like pushing it down 75 or whatever. But the Grammys were cute. For what it was during COVID, I enjoyed it. For the most part, I ignored all of Taylor Swift that I saw.
Beautiful gowns.
Beautiful gowns. Actually, that gown was not beautiful.
It wasn't cute?
No, it looked like a sofa that your grandmother would have had back in the 70s that was wrapped in plastic. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I am done.
Horrible. I know it's springtime, sis, but you don't have to look like every flower outside. It's not cute. Stop doing it. I don't like it. I don't like that at all. But in the conversation of Megan winning, you know, the craziest fan base on Twitter, the Barbs, brought back to my memory that Nicki Minaj does not have a Grammy.
Really?
She does not have a Grammy. Nicki Minaj. Onika Tanya Mirage. Why do I know her whole name? Jesus, am I a Barb?
It is, yeah. It is because of Drake.
Drake?
So Nicki was
Drake.
Nicki was out during Drake's reign, right? Or I mean, he's still reigning, but whatever.
Oh, yes.
She was definitely putting out a lot of hits. Well, what I think is that a lot of the times women are not able to shine when there's a man that's doing the same thing they are, right?
Yeah.
And they were on the same label.
True. At
the time, and you know, she's a black woman, so we only gonna get so much. You know, they only gonna give us a little bit at a time. So Meg is, you know, she's here at a really good time.
And her budget's probably bigger. I ain't gonna lie.
Really think so?
She has Jay-Z.
Well, she's with Jay-Z now.
Yeah. So I feel like now she's reaching. Now she's with white audiences, and once you get to the mainstream. That's where you land. However, I do need a better project than whatever Good News was.
We love you.
I hate to see it,
but come back.
I was not here. Although, don't rock me to sleep. Okay, can't sing that. No, the Grammys cute. Let's see what you do next year. I don't really care about y'all little awards. I just like to see all the dresses because I'm very gay. And it's very true. Honestly, I just love to see the beat face with the eyebrows, the hair.
Was it giving what it's supposed to have gave, or because I saw some pictures and I wasn't pleased with a lot.
Well, see, Getty Images does people dirty. So the first night pictures are never cute, but you know, once you put a little face tune on them pictures, them girls was all right. I think people looked okay. It was. No, okay, it wasn't.
It didn't get.
I was trying. Yeah, I was trying to do them well. But to the Grammys, I bid you a farewell, because I don't know if I can do it again. I just don't know.
I cannot tell you the last time. Probably when Whitney Houston was on there, giving her props to everybody.
Child, I am 26. Was that during my lifetime?
I can't even talk.
I guess I'll see you next lifetime. Ooh, a mess. So, bid farewell to the Grammys and bid farewell to Quavo? Sorry.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm sorry. So I love Twitter. Twitter is one of my favorite social media networks.
Facts.
Mine is not safe for work. So don't follow me, but follow me because I need more followers, please. And I saw some foolishness steering that Saweetie was single. And the rumor mill says that she was cheated on, which I don't understand because the doll is gorgeous. However, I guess beauty doesn't really... niggas gonna nig, I ain't gonna lie to you.
That's what they gonna do.
And that's at the
what they gonna do.
end of the day. One of my favorite black sayings. At the end of the day, listen, I bet
people
when
love to say
when Saweetie tweeted that she was single, Quavo was over there looking like, who shot John and what for? Cause baby, that was a mess. And he over there gaslighting her in that tweet, talking about some, I'm so surprised with you or whatever he was saying.
Yeah, I thought you was a different woman or something like that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. She is a different woman. She's probably a better woman because she left you and you. He is the Beyonce of Migos, but
I thought the other man was.
who, Offset?
Yeah, baby, I was
Was
about
you
to
gonna
say
say set it
off. Yeah.
Ooh, so weedy.
I'm so old.
It's okay. That is perfectly
I usually
fine.
call him Cardi B husband, so
Oh, growth.
yeah.
You're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
I forgot the other one name. Takeoff.
I was about to say Migo.
You know what?
Get me off.
I'm done with this. But I hope Saweetie gets some good music out. I'm always here for a bop that I can, do a little shimmy in the straight club, because that's all I can do in the straight clubs. Or, I'm in the gay club. That's always a moment. You ain't got to decipher it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. A mess. So new music from Saweetie, and it looks like we might be getting new music from Rihanna. So as I was scrolling the interwebs today on my lunch break, because I be bored, y'all, I be so bored. Because from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., y'all better not email me, don't call me, don't text me. If the building on fire, put some water on it. I was scrolling and I see that Rihanna had posted something celebrating the fact that Anti, her album that came out in 2016, is still on Billboard. Still on Billboard, which is the first time a black artist or black woman has ever completed that feat, which is amazing. And for it to be Rihanna, oh, nah. What's my name, Jesus? Oh, we love to see it.
We love her.
So the girls were in the comments. Somebody said, oh, baby, you need to celebrate by dropping a song. Just trolling, as we always do, because where's the album, sister? Anyway, she said, I just might need to drop a single soon. Like, what? Wait a minute. And then she goes back and doubles down and says, just one, though. Like, just one song. So maybe not an album. But I feel like I need another Miss Fenty moment. And we mentioned Rihanna in previous episodes, and that we stan. We really do stan.
10 toes down.
Like, I'm never going to get away from a black woman doing her thing. She's getting her makeup coin.
Her billions.
Her lingerie coin. They talked about couches, chairs, eyeglasses. She probably gonna have a car out soon. I don't know. I would drive the Fenty Mobile. I would love it. I'm not gonna lie to you, because
I probably would drive a Fenty Mobile too.
Right? I feel like it would look like
Fenty sounds like a luxury vehicle.
It sounds like luxury everything. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, she could have a line of paint at Home Depot, and I'm gonna
paint my house. Yeah,
every color. Like, I don't even know what she could call it, whatever she wants to.
Yeah,
it could be pink, and it could be called something. Never mind, not that type of show. But I am very excited. I hope she wasn't just trolling us. in the excitement, because she ain't responded to none of these famous people, because all the girls that get paid by the Shade Room be commenting on everything in celebrities' comments. And she wasn't responding to any of that. Girl, you ain't know them people?
I didn't even know Offset name, so.
Oh, true. But yes, there's a few people that if you look in the Shade Room, now I had to unblock the Shade Room because,
It's pop culture.
Yes. So I unblocked them, they were blocked. I ain't gonna lie to you. But no, if you look into their posts, there's the same celebrities under every post. And I just feel like it's probably for notoriety, so that way they get their name out there. But that ain't cute.
It's not.
Just hilarious. That's not cute, Milan Christopher. We don't like it. I hate to see it. I don't understand it. Like, just go promote teeth whiteners like everybody else. Flat tummy tea.
You know what?
You know what? Not flat tummy tea. That's bad. Maybe them don't eat again lollipops. Okay. I'm sorry. No, don't do it. Don't take me seriously. So, no. But yes, Rihanna, we need new music. We need new everything. I need eyeglasses. I need contacts. Honestly, if Rihanna came out with like a surgery line, I don't know if they have lines of surgery. I don't know what that means.
Dr. Miami is a line.
He is.
And then you got some other doctors that are probably famous. So, yeah, she could come out with a line, too.
You know what? This wasn't even on my list. But y'all ends were down there in Miami acting the mess up. Now,
for spring break,
them kids was running out on checks and getting beat up in the street.
By the waitresses?
By like the wait staff. Because you can't run out on tabs that be like $500, $600. That's rude. And you,
to say the least.
You know you went down there with $27 and you get it on Wednesday and you didn't get paid till Saturday.
Oh my God.
I hate to see it. They was out there fighting. They was out there doing everything. I some of the videos that I've seen on the other side of Twitter, no God. I will be at church on Sunday because y'all have done Miami dirty. Now, I'm going to be back there in a couple months. I ain't even going to hold you. But
that's crazy.
They was doing it. There was thousands of people on Ocean Drive during a pentatonic. Like,
I'm trying to tell you.
I don't get it. Like, we are still in a Pangea. I'm not understanding. Like, we are still in a Potomac, and y'all out here with no masks. Probably ain't washed your butt in 3 days because you look like it. Some of y'all look like y'all ain't even go down in the hotel rooms, to be quiet.
Sleeping in a car.
If they have that. Child, sleeping on the rocks at the beach.
Oh, my goodness.
You hate to see it. Anyway, Miami.
March has been a lot.
There's been so much. And there's something else going on with some man that cheated on his wife. I don't know nothing about it, but that's a mess. I watched that video and was cracking up because he big. I thought he was fine. I ain't even gonna lie to you. That's why I watched the video. But then I heard he was out here sleeping with 72 women in the course of like 9 days. And that's not fair. And she was sitting there. She was sitting there looking like she was getting reprimanded. She looked...
But I'm not even gonna do that. She put out another video in a camouflage T-shirt.
No, she didn't.
And said that she is in the army of
the Lord.
Okay, and then she had on her breastplate of righteousness, a helmet of salvation. I mean, she was like really.
Girl, that.
I said, ma'am, and again, this is why I'm not supposed to be talking because I go too deep. But let me tell you something. Do not use the Lord and Christianity as the reason for you staying in an abusive relationship, because God gives reasons for you to end these marriages. There are very few and far between. However, don't use the Lord for that man to be an excuse for you to stay in that marriage. I'm just saying.
Now, you're going to take it deep, but I'm going to take it high because all I say is cheat back, girl. Cheat bike. Please. Period. Now, I don't know nothing about that, so I ain't going to speak on it, but that was a mess, and it's been all over my timeline. It's been on Instagram. Probably in 3 days, it'll be on Facebook. Because, their Facebook is slow, child.
I haven't been on Facebook in like 6 years.
I have to. My mama be like tagging me in everything.
I need to get back on Facebook. I'm going to put the podcast on Facebook.
Why?
so that
My mama can listen to it.
We need, yeah.
She ain't finna cuss me out. She white.
That's okay.
Tiffany Lane Watkins.
She gonna cuss you out. She's still gonna support you.
She probably will.
My mama be watching.
Oh. Oh, Jesus. Ooh. Oh, moving on to better news. Oh, let me watch my mouth, God. Today it was announced that Miss Issa Rae, wonderful actress, producer, writer, comedian. She's just an amazing, gorgeous Black woman. I first met her years ago with the YouTube series Misadventures of an Awkward Black Girl. I almost said Awkward Black Bottom. I'm real gay. I'm sorry.
You know what?
I'm so sorry. It was just natural for me. I'm not even going to hold you. And now everybody loves her for Insecure, which is a show that I do not watch because I have every streaming service that God has. And I can't do it. HBO is just another streaming service. At this point, I might as well get rid of cable and just have streaming services. Anyway, this is not what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I get sidetracked real easily. Baby, it has been reported, has signed a 8-figure... Let me bring up my calculator, child. How much money is... That's a lot of money, girl.
8
Hold on, how that work?
figures.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8...
Wow.
That's at least $10 million.
Yeah.
That's at least $10 million.
So it really could be like 90 million. Or like 85.6
Here I am,
million.
qualifying for the stimulus. I love you, Lord. Anyway, congratulations, baby. She is now working on 5 additional shows on top of the current show. She's wrapping up Insecure. They're also producing a second season to the Black Lady Sketch Show, I believe it's called, which
That's
is
really
hilarious.
funny. Yeah, it's
that
really
is hilarious. I have seen that because I had to support. There were so many people involved. I think Robin Thede was in there.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Angela Bassett that was in one of the episodes?
She was.
Just so many people. I feel like Black China's Booty may have made an
Janae.
appearance.
From The
Janae?
Game. I don't know her real name, but Janae from The Game.
The Game.
The TV show The Game with girl Melanie.
Yeah, but was that which game was it? Was it the CW The Game?
The
or
CW The Game.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
The one he had the baby by.
Oh, have a baby by me, baby. Be a
Be
thousandaire.
Yeah,
Then
$1,000.
he was broke.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay, Janae. Okay.
So she was in it, and she's actually really funny.
Oh, I
Like,
don't
dumb
remember.
funny.
But I be under the influence a lot, unfortunately.
It's a celebration.
Every
Clap,
time we
clap,
link
bravo.
up. Oh, bless. So she's now working on 5 additional projects.
Wow.
With them as well. So it's a deal with Warner Media. So I assume that just means with HBO as well. And I know that she had a couple of different projects that she was working on as far as like a 90s sitcom and something with like a boy, I think a man that was bisexual, something like that. She tries to tap into different avenues that she may not have experience with herself, but that she knows are throughout the diaspora, which I stan, honestly, because she's amazing. I've loved her since she was a thing. Now, this is why I don't need Face ID. This don't even work, child. I have loved her for a long time, and I salute you. I congratulate you, Miss Issa.
Yes.
Issa Rae and Issa, whatever your last name is on the show. I heard that y'all are still mad at Condola. I don't know what your name is, child.
Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah, I don't watch the show. I would love some rice. Ooh.
You know what? I love rice too.
You know what I love? Chicken and rice. I'm hungry.
I
I'm
love
sorry.
etouffee and rice. Crawfish
Some crawfish
etouffee.
etouffee. You know, I wanted some crab legs today because God blessed me. Biden blessed me on today.
With the stimmy.
Oh, bashata.
You got the stimulator.
Oh. Ooh, we're not even going to talk about everything else because I can go on in so many ways for so many days about how mad I am. But it's all right. Thank you, Biden. We love you. So I did want to take a moment.
You are man. Don't fall no more, though. That man cannot fall no more.
I was going to ignore it. I ain't even going to lie to you. I saw that video and was like, ooh, bruh.
Like 4 times, G.
Ooh. On Air Force One.
I was like, all right.
How you going to bruise yourself on Air Force One? Them stairs is like the size of my house. What are you doing? How do you fall? Why are you not holding the railing?
Why are you trying to run? You not Barack.
Why are you running?
You not Barack.
Barack was like 47 when he went into office. Nigga, you
Facts.
was like, oops, sorry. You was like, you like 87.
And you just don't have that type of swag. Walk up the stairs, man.
Yes, walk up the stairs, sir. Whiteman. I mean, you're still great. Because you gave me some money, and I heard you're working on, like an immigration thing. And I'm just very happy with that. Now, what I need you to work on, though, sir, is some gun control in this country. Now, this is going to be a little bit more serious. I ain't even going to hold you. But these shootings, they have got to stop. It's just too much. I'm not excited about any of this. The fact that you can go down to Target, to 7-Eleven, probably to Aldi, maybe to Quick Trip, and just get like an automatic rifle in America doesn't make sense. I don't understand how these people don't understand how this correlates. But it's very upsetting to me because one of the people that died in the recent shooting was a man that had 7 kids. Now he was a police officer, but he was in talks of retirement, of changing his career because he wanted something safer. So I just feel like us as people, and we need to start calling these people. We need to start making it known that they need to do something better about these guns, about this gun control. I get it. It's an amendment. I don't know which one it is because I ain't go to college, but it's one of them, and we just got to take it a little bit more serious because this is not it. This don't happen everywhere else, baby. There's been like 3 mass shootings in like a week.
It's very sad.
That's not of God. I don't like it. It's sad. It could be anybody. It's just...
It's a little scary too. If you think about it.
I try not to live my life in fear, but you got to sometimes.
Live in fear, but if you just think
inevitable.
about being a black person, right? Now all of a sudden there is this, and not all of a sudden, I don't want to say it like that, but there is this focus on Asian hate and targeting Asian people. So you just think about, I don't know, what can you do here?
Die.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's the only thing that's never mind.
So it's very sad. We extend our condolences to all the families that have lost someone in the recent shootings. We our hearts go out to you all. We are hoping, like Justus said, that Biden, some states, some politicians begin to advocate and put laws in place when it comes to gun control. We are just completely saddened about the fact that this continues to happen in this country. But, as always with this show, we want to educate, mitigate, celebrate. And so we are very sorry to hear about these things that have happened. My hopes are that we can get past the hate in this country. Hopefully somebody watching this show that's not black, that's not, a person of color can see something, take something from what we talk about and spin it into something positive so that you then take it to your community and help be of progression. We're not going to end on a sad note because that's not what we do here. I'm gonna pour up a little bit more for me, for the homies.
For the homies.
To the Grammys, to Saweetie, and even to Quavo. Do your thing.
Don't do your thing. Don't do it. Don't do it no more. That's what got you in here, is your thing. Hello,
lights. To the families, to Biden, not falling on these floors or these stairs anymore. to Women's History Month and to Black Girl Magic. Thank you. See you next time.
Woo woo. Take care.